I've watched a snail crawl along the edge of a straight brazier. That's my dream. That's my nightmare. Crawling, slithering along the edge of a straight brazier and survive.
Chapter 13, The Final Boss Inside.
When I emerged from the rooftop, I cast a long shadow with my wolf ears. My once proud Aryan body now transformed into a full-fledged biological weapon for the glory of the right. Walsenstein, my hometown. Fading memories of my former life. Feel as weakness leaving like rotting. Fear of losing my family and my life is what made me hesitate against that Russian abomination death roll. The only true success we've ever created, and now's the fate of us all. That Russian rat and his little friends need to die. All of the idiots stationed here feel useful, and they could throw themselves at him, and hopefully they all kill each other. I want revenge. That was my laboratory they just destroyed. And the best job I ever had. I'm filled with nothing but the desire to hunt them down and kill them all. War or no war. I will hunt these people for the sport of it. That'll be my life's sport. If we can't win this war, then I'll make them bleed. Unlike the rest of the old soldiers here, I was the only one who volunteered to leave my former life behind and become one of the chosen to advance our cause against the Bolsheviks and their super soldiers. As I wisp over the snow gracefully as an altered beast, my mind travels back to the times when I didn't feel so supremely confident in myself, the low times of my life. I used to be a woman that was under the heel of my father, who used his position with the party to get me into one of the top medical science schools in Germany, despite being a useless girl, as he used to say. That's where I found my best friends in life, and where I discovered the true value of my Aryan heritage. I can be felt far more powerful as a party member than as a tourist from the Netherlands. So I went all in with my medical science degree and became a full member of the National Socialist Party for Germany. I remember never feeling loved growing up, not by my father, my mother, or my other family. We were a family of workers. As my father used to say, a man is only worth his work. I wasn't born the boy he wanted me, and I had to make up for my inherent lack of worth as their only girl, since complications during my birth had ruined my mother forever. It was my duty to make my name mean something. I needed to perfect the chlorine gas delivery devices and test them to perfection on killing rooms full of rats. After that, we moved on to Worth River, enemies of the party. And here and now, the wind howls in my ears, and the snow treads like a very little sound coming from me, despite my 320-pound Wolfenstein frame. This is what I was born to be. I have time to think, and my mind wanders back to the days that led me here. Like when I proved myself in the chlorine gas trials, and my old body's high in the burning pits. Then they put me on the next grid, the Nazi Wunderwaffen. Undead soldiers use some chemicals recently developed by the United States and stolen by Russia, which was bought and paid for by us before we invaded them. With a weapon like undead soldiers, the US could have taken over the world. Too bad they didn't have someone like Der Fuhrer to give them the will to conquer. By the time I was put on the division of specialists who worked on the Bearman project, I finally felt that I proved my true worth, despite being just a girl, as my father used to say. I was as good as any and better than most, and still, I wasn't satisfied. I was free to do what I wanted. The Nazis' war wasn't my idea. That's why I helped engineer the Bearman's escape. I knew he would do some damage to this place. I knew they wouldn't be able to survive without me. But I thought I'd be able to clean this up by now. I take no ownership of the Germans' war, whether or not they believe. In the end, when I finally came to this mountain, all I wanted was to be a wolf and feast on the blood of old people like white bears. I perfected the Wolfenstein project here at the mountain, and I made sure the only true perfected Wolfenstein was me. After that, I sabotaged these Nazis, so they only succeeded enough to be a problem around here, and now spread out of control back home to Wolfenstein. After I degraded the Nazis, I released the hounds, and the nearby villages by the river started to bleed, just like now. I can hear some of the POW wrath from my blood, knowing this is all I have, but all I think is, this is the hour of the wolf. I find a group of Russian brats, flee my burning ship, and my sinking train. I thought I didn't hate them. Wolves don't hate what they kill. It's only territory. But the human part of me is still here. Still being an intelligent being, holding on to sides. I get ahead of them without them hearing or seeing me. It's the hour of the wolf. Keeps repeating in my head. If I could smile, I would. Being stronger and faster than them fills me with a predatory superiority and supreme satisfaction. If only my parents could see me now. Maybe thy father would be proud to have a girl for once. I wait for their leader to approach as he herds his flock, while I follow him. Right now he sounds just like my father, telling me a boy would have walked faster in the snow than a useless girl. As he gathers him close, I jump out of a tree and take his gun and break his arm in one move. Then I bite his throat and rip off his head in another well-practiced manner. Then I disappear into the trees at great speed, while they uselessly fire in my direction. The trees cover me, and the fear of me keeps my enemies at bay. I spit out the human flesh. I can tell the human memories of eating cooked meat leaves me with no muscle memories of eating raw flesh. I'll have to practice where I can. One by one, I stalk them, and I let them hear the sound traps I made behind their escape route. I let them see me, and they flee into the directions I lead them. Now that I have cut off their head by killing their leader, they're all chickens with their heads cut off. One by one, I do to them what I did to their leader. I want people to find what I do to them, and make me a legend in this place for as many years as I could do this. Finally, I saved the last one, because she's a young girl. Tell me your name, young one. I say to her in the best Russian I can, with these altered vocal cords.
You can talk?
The girl says, yes. I can show mercy, too. I'm looking to find the nearest town from here. Can you point me in the right direction? I say, feeling my teeth expose themselves in my wolf smile.
I don't know, Lloyd. I don't think...
I killed a boy just as old as you earlier. Little girls who don't tell the wolf the truth get eaten. Is that understood?
That was my brother.
My brother's died tonight as well. Perhaps I can let you live. And we could call it even. Just tell me where I could find some food.
Sure, here you go. That's where we're going. They say it's just north of here.
The little girl says, shivering. North. I say, look it up the Murray. Remembering my parents.
Please, can you help me get help?
She says with pathetic, leading eyes. The human side of me is torn apart. I come close to her. I put my hand on her shoulder. Then I stick my clawed finger in her throat and into her brain. I turn off her life. like flipping a Russian light switch. I have to kill the part of me that cares. My father would have hated that.
As we continue to flee down the mountain, I'm glad of the small things, like Sophia doing a good job tying herself to my back, and listening well when I told her only fire when she has a clear line of sight. I could hear the last of the wolf soldiers stalking us from the trees, most likely looking for the perfect time to strike. That's when it's do or die. Some of the people with me are going to die, but we will fight them to the end. As we cross muddy land between the trees, we end up crossing particularly deep water puddles, covered with thick sheets of ice. It's not until the bullet falls in, and a group converges to save her, that the wolves come out. First we hear howls once again, as they've been howling from short distances away from us, in an attempt to herd us into their traps. I fought to keep us going steady forward, to the distant lights of the town Shergavel, and by the grace of God, our refuge from this nightmare. I hear the rustling from trees, very quiet footsteps in the snow at a distance. Only my enhanced hearing can pick it up. Then as soon as I move towards the sounds, a man's bone-chilling screams echoes through the hills. Sophia, I yell.
Ready.
She says, aiming the AK-47 assault rifle in the direction of the screams. I hear in a broken German accent, "Da Heeds." Then two wolf soldiers emerge from the darkness, and Sophia opens fire on them by forcing them to evade into the trees. We need to move now, I roar to the others, and I lower my voice for Sophia. They're after me, Sophia. When I tell you, you need to get off them, but don't let them see you get off. I wouldn't want my son here, and I won't risk her life so close to escaping. I can take them all, I say with confidence. That's a lie to myself. Sophia picks her target, and fires at those wolf soldiers, when she sees though, while we make our not so hasty retreat. A woman dying of hypothermia is slowing our escape and allowing the wolf soldiers plenty of time to adjust their attack strategies against us. The last of our people stay in a tight crew, with Sophia and I rowing the outer perimeter a short distance away. I hear the trees shake and the snow crunching doggedly. Then they make their move from two different directions. Sophia and one of the others in the group manages to wound one of their legs, leaving me enough time to close in on them. Finish me off. The wounded soldier says. Sophia obliges him and puts 4 shots in his head. Then she spits on his corpse.
Even wonder weapons can break.
A roar is heard in the distance. And now I have a plan. I have a plot key, comrade. Do you remember what I told you earlier?
Yes. Let's kill the wolfman.
She says aggressively, fidgeting with her mounting trips. I grumble and nod my approval. Universal language for any child. Then I hurry towards the smell of blood, to do as she says, kill the wolfman. He lurks in the darkness, where he knows nobody can see him but me. And I don't have a direct line of sight because of the trees. In other words, Sophia is useless here. I hope she understands when she hears from me again. I let her go in between the trees in the dark. Then I go towards the metallic smell of blood. Before I know it, I'm hit from above, and I roll to my back to counter my opponent's hold on me. And it works. Now we face each other in a real tooth and nail deathmatch, just like Mother Nature intended. I listen for the most subtle of movements, and I follow the smell of blood. With my eyes, even the darkness can't hide him. I hear a growl. He's young though. Young men like us are thrown into war, because we believe ourselves invincible. It's time to show him the taste of mortality. I know I can't absorb damage well with his HUD, so I close the distance between us and I feint like I'm going to strike, and he lunges at me, going straight for my throat, just as I thought he would. He's trying to end the fight quick, like the other wolf soldiers I fought, which means they were all trained by the Wolfen style, the head wolf soldier. Now I know he's fallen back on his training. I could throw some tricks at him, break his training. He's trained for head-on attacks, so I roll to the side before I close in for attacks, and he maneuvers defensively, unsure of his next move. Now I have him. I have controlled his assault and defense. Now I pick my victory strategy. I let out a roar loud enough for the whole forest to hear me. Then I begin my final assault. I charge in and absorb defensive hits to my arms, and when I turn upon him, he slashes my back and then my legs. Now's my chance to pretend to be more injured than I really am. I hobble away, and I purposely make a show out of how desperate I am to retreat back from the steadily advancing foe. Now I have this Nazi bastard right where I want him. I let him see me roar again, out of desperation, roaring in every direction, feeding him the validation that young men crave from their difficult circumstances. I'm the one who beat him, he probably thinks. This last maneuver is complicated, but this is my canvas, and I have started painting a masterpiece of deception. Now I need to finish him. I lunge at him with a monstrous roar, and I let him take me down. Then I wrap my arms around him and pick him off the ground in a bear hug. Sophia, over here! I roar. Good shots light up the darkness in between the trees, and Sophia appears in a halo of light during each choice shot. He's hit numerous times, and I absorb some shots to my fatty outer extremities. Then I let it end. Sophia, stop! I roar over the echoes of gunshots. I pick him up over my head and slam him to the ground. Then I wrap my jaws around his throat, and I feel him tense up with anticipation, and I hear breath from his jaws hiss as his body tightens up. At this moment, it's hard to ignore the fact that I have a living creature at my mercy in my jaws, and this is what animals must feel all the time. I can feel his breath in my jaws, and I tear his throat up. After that, we leave the woman who died of hypothermia, and we make our way to the lights beyond the hills. Now that we reach the riverside town of Shirgable, we are greeted by the dismembered body parts of my fellow Russians, spelling the words "come and see" in Russian characters. Clearly an educated Nazi bastard. Get inside. I tell everyone who's there, and I don't feel Sophia budging in. Then I look up towards her as best I can. You too, comrade. I must take that thing on alone. I tell her like I would tell my son. Sophia unties herself from the improvised straps of the ammunition path she tied on me. Then she somberly begins to walk away, and then she turns back.
Kill that monster, dead love.
I have one more mission for you, in case I don't make it back. I need you to check on my stepmother's home. I'll tell you the address. Now I can see my treat in her as an equal will leave her feeling bitter. At least now I could die without a guilty conscience. For a short while, all I hear is the subtle crunching of gravel under my paws. Subtle breezes blow past my ears as I listen for even the slightest bit of breathing. Then a woman's scream rings out and echoes through the alleys between the single-story houses. I get to a nearby rooftop as fast as I can, and I see the shape of the Wolfenstein against a home engulfed in flames. In their grasp, they have a screaming woman. I roar to get my enemy's attention, and then I see the form shift, and two glowing eyes look directly at me. The screams of the woman it holds still echo through the town. Then her head is ripped off, and she is silenced forever. The Wolfenstein steals away into the night behind the houses, while I jump from roof to roof, trying to catch up, until two shock and blasts cause me to lose my footing and fall off the roof and land in an alley. I curse my circumstances while I'm laid out in the gutter, and I hear more screams.
Back in a blood-stained room, with people who survived the terror in the hills, huddling next to the roaring fire, ablaze with furniture and picture frames of the people who used to live here, of whose corpses are just outside. I might just be a 12-year-old girl who lost her family, but I don't need my parents to tell me to do the right thing. And I give everything I can as a Russian to defend all of us from the wolves. Is this all you're good for? I say, looking at them and hoping my disappointment in them will at least be enough for the grown men in the room to rise up. Just sitting here hoping the wolves don't get you. The only way you people will be free is to fight for your freedom and kill the wolf.
Quiet, little girl. Your Bearman isn't here to protect you.
A stupid, scared woman says, yes, because he's out there protecting us, just like you should be.
Who are here to tell us what to do, Jack? If you want to try your luck against them, I say have at it. I'm just hoping they don't come back.
A frightened man with a long rifle says. I walk up to the man with the long rifle, and I ask him, is that a Dragunov? And before he can answer, I take his gun and shove my empty AK-47 into his crotch and force him to take it. I do as he suggested. I take his gun, and then I take my chances. I shut the door behind me, then I hear them lock it afterward. Good. Now it's do or die for all the creatures of the night. The road is full tonight, and I hear a deathly howl and a roar. And I know where I need to be now.
I push that Nazi werewolf bastard to a wall, and I see them get up like nothing. And whoever this Wolfenstein is, seems to be a true believer. My work here will be long and hard. Coward! I say in German, so they understand it.
I hear you, Dyatlov.
She says, speaking Russian. You killed your last innocent Russian today.
I suppose you're guilty of destroying my laboratory.
If that was your lab, then I'm going to kill you slow. Just in case hell doesn't exist.
Hell exists, Dyatlov. I gave you a taste of it back there when I made you kill your own family.
I checked the text.
We didn't know their names, but after I kill you, I will send you and your family in pieces back to Quasenstein Castle, where they will display your family's body parts on the castle walls.
Since day on, you should have stayed home.
This is my home now. My name will be legendary in this town.
She says, then she hurries and disappears through a doorway. I know she's vindictive and sadistic, but clever. I assume her flight for this combat is part of some game she's playing. Some victory strategy she's luring me into. I follow the Wolfenstein, close enough to see any traps she's laid out for me. Then I lose her sound and smell around a garage full of military vehicles in various states of repair, where the smell of gasoline puts us both at a disadvantage. My blood chills now that I remember I used the same strategy against her comrades. I survey the area, and I see that there's only one way in and one way out. The game is not set. I'll have to play in her court, or wait her out. I know the more time I give her, the more she'll plan my downfall. Now at the entrance of the voter pool, the sounds outside are blocked by the enormity of the structure, allowing me to hear even the slight rattles of the dangling chains. I have no fix on her, but I know this is the only way she wants to confront me. So here I am. What now? The release is pulled on the metal garage door, and it loudly cuts off my exit. I'm careful not to look at the door as it closes, since I know she's watching me for any opening she can find. When the door shuts, all there is the loud hiss of the door from the wind. After the door fully closes, I hear one last deep metal thump from the door, piquing my interest at the last second. I look up, and I see the Wolfenstein jumping down from the garage door. Her weight pins me to the ground, with her knees rupturing the muscles on my body, and causing me pain that I didn't know a bear could feel. This is the pain of being on the other side of primal rage. She had no reserve, where a man would have held back. She attacked my private parts with her claws, and she tried to bite out my eye with her razor-sharp teeth. Her ferocity was truly matched by her strength. I resort to pushing her off me in a desperate attempt to gain some ground and get time to strategize. But she stayed on me, striking and clawing at me in an aggravated assault, like a mother avenging her dead cubs. This isn't like a human fight. I can't count on her exhausting herself and then coming in for a late win. I have to find a way to overcome her or die trying. I can't let her leave. I can't let her leave. I wouldn't call what I think of as an idea, but like a concession of weakness or an act of defiance. I use my paws and arms to toss her every time she comes at me. I know this does very little to cause harm to her genetically altered hide, but I have decided I will give everything to my homeland and my people tonight, and for us, it will end dirty. After a while of tossing and tumbling all over the oil-covered floor of the motor pool, we are both equally covered in oil, gas, and whatever else they spill on the floor here. While lacking technical skill, my opponent seems relentless. And if I can't win, then I can at least call it a draw and burn together.
Are you planning on burning me?
The Wolfenstein says, with your rasping voice in my home tongue. I don't have to be the winner here. I just have to make you stop. I say with a straight vodka tone I only get, but I'm sure I could drive home true. But whenever I'm doing something else suicidal,
You won't stop me. Not even a peace treaty will stop me. I will carve my legend out of the blood of your people on the river. Those hills will be named after me when I'm done. Perhaps 80 years from now.
we must face our fears. I remember being told as a young boy, and I remember telling my own son the same thing when he started sleeping in his own room. We all must face our fears. Just then, the Wolfenstein lunged at me, her claws reaching towards my eyes, and just as I duck, I see that she has fainted in attack, and now she intends to flee to one of the industrial windows. I hurl myself over the military walker tank. I climb up its legs, jump to the second floor in time to slash her back and claw her out of the window. Now on the second floor, we face off in a tooth and nail deathmatch, with her furiously hacking at me with her dagger-like claws and biting my arms when I use them defensively, reducing my capacity to defend myself with every pound of flesh she takes. On the narrow walkway, she has the upper hand, and it's not long before I make a hasty retreat onto the top of the tape. While she turns back to the window to escape, I roar with all my might, hoping it'll buy me some time while I think of something. And then I see power cables, and I remember what I did to the lab. Then I pull the power cable with all my might and hurl it at a pool of gasoline next to a pile of gas tanks under the window of the Wolfenstein as above. The tanks explode, and a ball of flames blows the Wolfenstein off the wall and onto the first floor, where she recovers and rapidly ascends to the second floor, where I try to block her from leaving from the nearest window in her grasp. She slashes and then jump kicks me onto my back on the narrow stairs. I see her bash in the window open impatiently without using the mechanism, and she rips the metal shutters off the wall. And that's where I grab her by her hind legs while hanging out of the window. She takes her claws at me, and I roar in pain, with the orange light of the fire casting our silhouettes into the misty morning sky. Suddenly, shots are fired at long range, and each one takes a full second to reach around where me and my mortal enemy are battling. Then I hear Sophia's voice, and it cuts through all the white noise.
Jello, get away from the Wolfenstein. I can shoot it.
And I remember what I have to do to save him. I look down, and I see large fuel tanks outside the building in front of us.
Shoot the tanks! Shoot the tanks!
Get away from the wolf.
I can't beat her. Shoot the tanks. Please kill her. Please kill her.
I roar with honest desperation in what's left of my voice. A brief moment goes by. Then I see the flash, and I let the Wolfenstein fall off the roof towards the fuel tanks. The last thing I see is brightness. Then everything gets loud, and it all goes black.
I see everything through the telescopic lens of the Dragunov rifle. I shot the fuel tanks, just like he said, and the whole place went up in flames. There's no way they could have survived. For a small, quiet eternity, I sit there and think I'm the last person left on Earth inside this frozen hell, until I see a flowing figure run into the snow and putting themselves out. I knew Dadulov had a plan. I knew he would win. I see Dyatlov climb over the hills faster than I've ever seen him before. I've never seen him run like that. And I've actually rode on top of him. And I've never seen him this quiet either. Dyatlov, over here. Dyatlov, over here. I don't think it's Dyatlov. Now I got my rifle sight to my eye. Dyatlov! Dyatlov! I scream.
It's Dad, and you're next.
The Wolfenstein roars out. I see them over the next hill, and I fire shot after shot, barely grazing her with 2 shots. Then I remembered Dyatlov telling me to only shoot if I have a sure shot. Then I do what I have to do to get the shot. I know the Wolfenstein can smell the gunpowder. I know the wolf is coming. Let her come. Let her come to me as a prepared mind and not a scared reactionary. The wolf rapidly ascends from over the hill and instantly draws down on her target from behind. And she tears through the red coat, smell it of gunpowder and sticks I used to set a trap. Then I shoot her in her spine and drop her like a prized bot. This was a page from Comrade Ludmila Pavlichenko. She should have taught you even wonder weapons can break. I see the rage in her eyes as she discovers she can't move her legs. Then she looks at me, almost begging for the bullet. Then I stick the gun in the Wolfenstein's face, and then she casts her eyes down. Look at me. I said, look at me. I finally see defeat in the wolf's eyes. Then I blow her brains out, and pieces of her brains brit all over me. Then I spit her own blood on her corpse. We're safe, but for how long?